Hey everyone, my name is Tammy Davis. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new, welcome. I appreciate you checking this out. If you've been with me for a while, I appreciate you sticking with me. This is a personal journey, so to speak. It's an evolution of a new field, and I really can't thank everybody enough for hanging out and just kind of watching this process unfold. With that information, I want you to know this is an infomercial. So if you're not into hearing somebody promote a product, then by all means feel free to dip out at this point. My background includes pharmacology. I'm a continual student of pharmacology. I've been studying medications, plant constituents, their influence on human physiology, as well as their relation to drug development. Been doing this for well over 30 years. My background started in pharmacology over 30 years ago, before I was introduced to plants. And I mean, you know what I'm saying, for wellness purposes. And along the way, I, in a business course, met a professional nose who was one of 7 in the world at the time, and was looking to get out of the industry and start a natural fragrance company. So that's what I did. I was compounding, and she had developed thyroid cancer. That was the reason why she wanted to go this direction. She felt like working with all the synthetic chemicals had impacted her health. Fast forward a couple of, just a year maybe, and I was introduced to some world-renowned people, that Robert Tisserand being one of them, and he is instrumental in even introducing essential oils, or aromatherapy, more specifically aromatherapy, to the English-speaking world. I've studied Guy de Fosse's work. I've studied Dr. Valnet's work. I ended up mentoring with an organic and biochemist, phytotherapist, and I've been in the field longer than Young Living has been around. So there you have it. So I'm not saying I'm any better. I'm just saying I've been around for a while, and I feel it's fair to say that I initially got started with practicing and using oils just like everybody else, based on what was being written about, discussed in workshops and seminars, and really applying it that way. However, because I've maintained my and continue to study up in pharmacology, and continue to study the epigenome and drug development, and the reason that's even important is because, as I mentioned earlier, plant constituents are when we study plants, we're actually breaking it down to the various components within a plant to see how they affect genetic activity, to see how they influence various pathways such as acetylation and phosphorylation, which is a communication directly to the DNA. We've been doing this for a very long time. And a lot of this came to the forefront when with the release of the initial Human Genome Project. And of course, as you hopefully know, and if you don't, you do now, that study continues to go on. So that said, this is all about my Aromagenomics course, which was birthed out of my first course called Breaking the Cycle of Disease Management. And through that development of that course, I began to see something going on that I wanted to know more about. Now, having been in the wellness field for as long as I have been, I've heard many people, including myself, say, well, we're getting to the root of the problem. We're getting to the root of your health issue. Well, I can truthfully say that we're not. We're just not. I mean, although we are attempting very diligently to personalize our use of medications as well as natural remedies, we're not getting to the root of the issue. Now, what's interesting is, as I said earlier, my work has been evolving, because I'm never satisfied until, and maybe this comes from my love of mysteries as a child, but I'm never satisfied until I find answers. And I am very good about coming up with hypotheses and investigating. So what I introduce in Aromagenomics is ongoing investigation. What do you get in the course? Well, we'll just jump into that, and I'll go back into the other stuff. But what you get in that is, first of all, you actually get the breaking the cycle of disease management, just so you can kind of get an idea of the history of pharmaceuticals and our just the evolution of natural remedies. So you get that, and that's 3.5 hours of video plus a number of handouts. And forgive me for not knowing how many hours of pre-recorded video you actually get with all of this. Aromagenomics itself is a private Facebook group. It is self-paced in that you also get, besides the breaking the cycle of disease management, you also get hours of pre-recorded videos along with even more handouts and resources. It was based on initially aromatherapy as a lifestyle, but I prefer the term aromagenomics because we are specifically looking at things like the CYP450 enzymes. We are paying attention to what constituents actually bind to serum albumin and how certain ones also influence the sulfation pathway. This is all a concept of the aromagenomics. And look, I get that we have a mindset right now, or we're structured around teaching and trying to generalize, trying to, I get it. We all want this ability to go, okay, hey, look, this is good for you, just use this. But the fact is what's good for you is not necessarily good for me. Through my studies with my mentors and and ongoing, I've come to learn that there's a number of varieties of just, a single oil. So when you get an essential oil that says lavender, which one do you really have? When you say one that says rosemary, which one do you really have? That's right, there's a number of varieties. There's a number of varieties of basil. There's varieties of thyme. There's varieties, marjoram, chamomile, cedarwood. And the chemistry is all different. And so understanding which ones we actually have, understanding the chemistry. Why is this important? Because, again, medications, and 65% of the 65% of the U.S. population is stated to be taking at least one medication for at least 30 days at a time, if not longer. And half of those people are, over 50% of those people take at least 2 or 3 or more. So the fact that we have so many people taking medications and wanting to use natural remedies, it's become imperative that we begin to look at these oils in a much different way. I don't come at this to be contrary. That's not my agenda here. My agenda is to take what we already understand and build upon that, and to help people. In fact, I've been talking to people who actually want to personalize their body care products, their skincare when they do this. And I actually give in Aromagenomics, so besides all of the material, there's ongoing discussion. You have 100% access to me. Once you begin to pay, it's a one-time fee, although there are payments available. And as soon as you begin to pay, you're in for life. Once you make that last payment, if you go on a payment plan, there's nothing else to pay. I'm not going to market you to market oils. If you work with Young Living Oils, great. That's no problem. If you work with doTERRA, awesome. That's not a problem. I am just going to guide you with what you're working with and how you are implementing it into, even with the treatments that these two companies in particular train you on. So that you get, and of course then there's coaching. So there's guidance, there's access to me 100% of the time, through news, through feeds. Okay, then weekly live discussions. If we need to do something more frequently, all you have to do is ask for it. Okay, this is my commitment to you through Aromagenomics. This is how much I love what I'm doing. And like I said, I'm not trying to squelch anything that anybody else has taught us. I'm just trying to build upon it. So a couple of other things that I want to say is that synergy is a big factor when it comes to oils. but science has not been able to replicate the synergy. I had a question come up the other day, how, with regards to my statements about lavender and its estrogenic effects. Okay, let me just clarify this. Lavender is not an estrogen, okay? It acts like estrogen in the body. Phytoestrogens are real, you guys. They're real. Endocrinologists, around the world understand that this is a real fact of life. There's man-made endocrine disruptors and there's natural endocrine disruptors. And anything that's considered flax seeds, for heaven's sake, are very high in phytoestrogens. A lot of your vegetables are very high in phytoestrogens. And so therefore, I've been a vegan my entire life. But it's clear that by having so many phytoestrogens in my body, I continue to introduce this level of chemistry into my system that what it does is it activates the HPA, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, which means it is activating the autonomic nervous system. Then it accentuates the immune system, okay? And what we have is a growing population of people with degenerative diseases. So, did I do myself harm? Yes and no. Like I said, I've been a vegan my entire life. This is not something I chose to do because I didn't want to eat animal. I just never have liked animal products since I started eating table food. But the fact is like phytoestrogens are real. Estrogenic type chemistry is real. And that just means it acts like it. If you go to take a blood test, it's not going to show up on the blood test because it's not estrogen. It simply acts like estrogen. And estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone, it is also a stress hormone. This is the reason why it's activating the autonomic nervous system. This is the reason why it's activating the immune system. This is the reason why, and so what it's doing is actually perpetuating this stress mechanism. So again, it's interesting because my entire life, I was always being warned to be everything in moderation. That was something my father always used to say, everything in moderation. As a vegan, I was pretty damn extreme. But again, this is a process of learning and growing, and that's what I bring to the table with this Aromagenomics. And even though there's a lot of pre-recorded and and already a lot of content that's already been developed, there's going to continually be more, because the more I actually get to work with individuals, and for those of you who are new or aren't familiar with this idea or knowledge, I actually work a lot with Amish people, and so they bring a lot to the table that inspires a lot of research. The latest virus pandemic has inspired a lot of research. If you haven't seen my blog, please go over to Ultimate Guide. I've done an awful lot of investigating that's gone on, but my own health issues. As you can see, I've had some things go on. I've used natural remedies. I've been physically active, and yet I still develop breast cancer. I still develop skin cancer. I still develop arthritis. And this is what inspired, and this is part of the reason why I actually took Aromagenomics offline, so that I could, number one, take care of myself, and number two, get to the root of the issue. Get to the root of the problem that everybody wants to think they're, and we really do believe. I'm not saying that people are out there just maliciously lying to us. We really want to believe this, but the fact is that through my own health issues, and this is where I began to understand and discover that various constituents speak directly to the acetylation pathway and the phosphorylation pathway and the sulfation pathway. It's through my own investigation of the very specific constituents and the development of hypotheses, and then going down that rabbit hole until I got the answers. But the bottom line is, I've discovered, and I've talked extensively about this in my blogs and again on these videos, about the initializing chemistry that's at the root of all degeneration. And so through this Aromagenomics, you learn the science of aromatherapy. You learn how to apply it into your daily life. You learn how to, and then through, like I said, if you're working with other people, I will be your mentor in this and helping you devise formulas for your clientele, and until and helping you find comfort in being able to do this for yourself. Based on the fact that the use of oils must be more of a proactive approach. And so, like I started to say here a few minutes ago, was that synergy is at the crux of all this. So when when I have people ask me, well, why would you say this is acting like estrogen when it's not estrogen? It's the synergistic value that comes with the combination of constituents that science has acknowledged that they have no idea how to replicate. They're trying. They've identified that, you can take this constituent and this constituent, have this impact. They notice that, possibly if it's found within the same... The interesting thing is when they find it within the same plant, they don't promote using the same plant or using the plant. They promote fabricating it in order to use it. And part of me understands that, because we can't guarantee the quality of the plant matter if we're growing it naturally. Okay? So there's something to be said for the quality control, but at the same time, there's also something to be said for the use of natural, because the natural remedy that we get today is current to the environment. Whether, so it's been exposed to the bacteria and the viruses and the funguses and so forth. It's been exposed, and so it's developed. So the essential oil is basically the oxidative stress that's been produced by the plant in response to its environment. And one of the things that fascinates me is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So their oxidative stress relieves our oxidative stress. And this is the kind of stuff that I offer. And it just, as you can see, it's just very, very exciting to me. And because ultimately what I want is everybody, and again, I want everybody to be healthy. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I want everybody to experience wellness. I want to make a difference in our children's future. And I want to be able to guide people to be able to do this on their own, because this is something that I've developed. I'm very, very proud of. It's been my life's work, and it's going to be a continuation. It's kind of like one of those paintings that never gets completed until my last breath. That's my hope here, because we live in an organic world. And with the advent of medications and vaccinations and so forth, the inclusion of natural remedies is vital. It doesn't necessarily take the place of your medication, but it certainly benefits the body to include it with your medication. But learning how to do that safely is the most magnificent and best way that you can personalize what your needs are. And it's not based on a book. It's based on the chemistry. And that's my goal. That's the goal of Aromagenomics. So as I said, I've just reopened it up. You can get to it on my service tab on my website, synergescence.com. The link is down below. And, if you want to Zoom chat with me about questions that you may have, that's fine. I am going to ask for a $20 donation to do that, and we can apply it towards your enrollment if that's where you decide to go with it. Okay? So thank you very much for being here. Thanks for listening to 20 minutes of information about something that's very meaningful to me. And I pray that you are well, and I look forward to meeting you sometime soon. All right, thanks, and take care.